This trade report is genuinely insane. The Chicago Bulls possibly might acquire a $197 million star, but it might come at the cost of one of our emerging stars. Hi, I am Shaq Barnes, here with another episode of Bulls Digest, the number one spot of everything Chicago Bulls. Also, I noticed that 67% of you guys have been watching and have not subscribed. Treat it like the Bulls intro and run through that subscribe button. But we're not going to waste you guys' time. We got to get right into the news. NBA trade idea sends $197 million star to Chicago. And this story was suggested when Chicago Sun-Times writer Joe Cowley was talking about the Bulls' big three, Giddey, Vooch, and White, and asking what should they do. In the same article, he suggested that the Bulls trade for Zion Williamson. It says, in Crowley's article, he suggested a trade proposal between the Bulls and the New Orleans Pelicans to bring star forward Zion Williamson to Chicago. In the deal, he proposed a package around Nikola Vucevic, Coby White, and Jevon Carter going to New Orleans for Williamson. Now, it's a lot of things to unpack when it comes to this situation. I think, me personally, it's not worth trading Coby White for a guy like Zion Williamson, which both guys are star players to me at this point in time, which we're going to deep and dive into each part, the positive and negative. But for me personally, it's not worth trading Coby White. Now, if we can get Zion without trading Coby White, where we can keep Giddey, White, and Montes, I'm down for it. But Coby White is not worth being traded. And I can 100% guarantee you why Coby White is even being suggested being traded. It has to do with money. And voila, here go your answer right here, guys. While White surely can continue to progress as a player in this league, Chicago might look to capitalize on when his value might be at its highest. White heads into his final year of the 3-year, $36 million contract next season, but will likely command close to $30 million annually in his next deal. As for Vooch and Carter, both could serve as quality role players for New Orleans. 100%. My only problem with this, right? Because we're going to deep dive into the pros and cons. Let's deep dive into this pros and cons. Okay. Only thing, I really don't see a pro in trading Coby White. I'm going to be honest. For Zion Williamson. And it don't seem like it's a game plan. That's my first con. It seems like you just throwing stuff at the wall and hope it sticks. That's one. And then two, you just being cheap. That's literally what you're saying. You're just being cheap at this point. You don't want to pay Coby White. And if you really want to trade Coby White for something, why his value is highest, with this team being so young as it is, why wouldn't you just trade him to a team where you get some draft capital for him and care more about the future instead of trading for an injury-prone star? You're not really solving the problem. You're really kind of moving backwards. And when you bring up the fact of how the Bulls' offense could possibly be better with Zion or what Zion could bring him to him, I look at it like with Coby White on the floor. Now we got to look at it from the Zion point of view. Zion being a Bull could change the dynamic of what's going on with this team. Like I said, there's positives and negatives to this thing. Zion Williamson is a star player. Zion Williamson has the most career 25 points with shooting 60% from the field among players under 25. He has 70 compared to the rest of the players during that time. There's nobody even close to him. Zion Williamson, when he plays, is a beast on the court, most definitely dominant in the paint player we've seen. And would add a different dynamic to the Chicago Bulls team because honestly, this Chicago Bulls team is a run and gun, heavy shoot team. And I think you got a high flyer, a paint dominant player like Zion Williamson would be outstanding. But I think it would look great with Coby White being on that perimeter shooting those 3-point shots, if you ask me. But this is a positive for Zion. Not going to lie. But the negative is availability. The best ability is to be available, guys. I'm being honest with you. And the 6 years Zion has played, he has only played 214 games. He only played over 50 games twice in his year. And then you also see a year missing, 2021-2022 season. Zion Williamson was out the whole season. So that would be the problem that will come into play for Zion Williamson. And I think the Bulls should look at that when they suggest trading your up-and-coming superstar, all-star caliber player because you possibly don't want to pay him if you think Coby White's not worth the money. For me, I just think you got to go draft capital. But the more we get into this story, why the Bulls should bet on Zion. The Bulls, led by AK, should jump on the Zion's non-guaranteed contract. See the keyword cheap? We try to be cheap. Why? His scoring prowess and paint dominance would be another steal at a discounted price, which you can't beat that. His injury history is definitely reason to pause. He has played only 214 games since 2019, but the non-guaranteed deal means low risk if he flops, and Chicago could easily cut ties without the cap pay. See, that statement right there is what my concern is. I feel like when you make a move like this, you just hoping it works. So you just throwing stuff at the wall and hope it sticks. It don't feel like we have a game plan. We just, I hope Zion work. No, what's the game plan? That's my only true concern is that it does not feel like we have a plan in place. We just throw stuff at the wall and hope it sticks and hope it works. But if Zion succeeds, Zion abilities could help transfer the Chicago Bulls offense, which is too predicated on three-point shooting and attempts, into an efficient machine, which I think the dynamic of Zion adding to this team, which we do love to shoot the three ball and we love getting up and down the floor, I think would be a difference maker. But I think it will only be a difference maker when you got the Coby Whites and the Josh Giddeys out there with you, or the Monty Buzelis, the Kevin Huerters, who can spread the floor. People forget Coby White was one of our main components of the offense looking like that. You just want to get rid of him. I just disagree. AK, who has been criticized for safe moves and around the edges, could use this bold swing to escape the limitation of the present roster. But I don't think that's a smart thing to do if you don't have a game plan. Let's just try something. We got to do something. We got to do something edgy. No. Make a plan and stick to it. That's the problem with AK's run so far. It just seemed like we are just doing a bunch of moves without a plan. I want a plan. If he pull out a blueprint of what we're going to be in the future, and he sticks to that blueprint for the whole time, I'll be fine. But things like this, I don't know. And it also says the Bulls can't just rely on draft or the 2026 free agency class to fix their issues. They need to take all shots at relevance they can. Adding Zion's ability to get his impressive playmaking skills will provide the juice needed to light up the Windy City for years to come. But what you need to get the spacing to operate the way you want to operate is you need shooting. And that's Coby White. That's all I'm saying. But when we look into what Zion brings to the table, right? We look at Zion Williamson. He gives you 24 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal per game. He shoots 56% from the field, 23% from three. He's still young age, but the only problem is obviously you question defensive liabilities, and then you also can question health. That's the main concern. But then we look at a guy like Coby White, whose contract is possibly finna be up next season if you don't extend him. He give you 20 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 45% from field goals, 37% from three. But also another thing that I'm really looking at is you got to be honest when it comes to Coby White is after the All-Star break, Coby White gave you 24 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He was the player of the week multiple times, and he was going to be playing at an All-Star level. And if you really look at what the numbers that Zion was giving you compared to what Coby White was giving you, I'm probably going to take Coby White because he's going to be available for more games. That's just me personally. Hey guys, let me know what you think about this trade report news. What would you do? Would you trade Coby White to get Zion Williamson? And also, do you feel like the Bulls front office are still moving without a plan? Let me know. Comment down below. This has been Shaq Barnes on another great episode of Bulls Digest. See you guys on the next one. Peace.